Hello scientists, in this video I want to show you how to program your energy calculator spreadsheet with the energy equations so the spreadsheet can calculate the energy of the following objects you filmed for you. Okay, so as you can see here, my top table, the basketball table, has the height and velocity data I collected from Vernier Video Physics already entered into it, as well as the mass of the ball and the acceleration due to gravity, or little g, which is in column D. Okay? All the information the spreadsheet needs to calculate the energy of the ball as it fell is already there. We just have to tell it what to do with that information. So we're going to create formulas based on the energy equations that are instructions to the spreadsheet that tell it what to do with the data. Okay, so we're going to start in cell G4, which I've just clicked on. Now that I've clicked on it, you can see it is surrounded by a blue square. Okay, now as I mentioned in class, all formulas start with an equal sign. So when I put an equal sign in there, the spreadsheet knows that I am about to write a formula and tell it what to do. And you can also see up here where it says FX, this is the formula bar or the formula toolbar. You can type your formula up here or you can type it in a cell and the formula will appear up in that bar. Okay? So we want this cell, cell G4, to be equal to the kinetic energy of the basketball measured in joules. Okay? And we know, we learned in class, that kinetic energy is equal to half the mass of an object multiplied by the velocity the object is traveling at squared. So we got to turn that equation, or at least the 1/2 mv squared part of it, into a formula. And this is how you do it. You're going to start with the number. The first part of the right side of the equation is just a constant number, 1/2. So I'm going to write that as 0.5. That is the same thing as a half. Okay? And that's going to be multiplied by the mass of the object. So I'm going to use the asterisk, Shift 8, to indicate multiplication. Okay? I want to tell the spreadsheet to take 1/2 and multiply it by the mass. But I want the spreadsheet to use whatever mass is entered in the mass column. Okay? So over here in cell C4, we have the mass of the ball, 0.625 kilograms. Okay? So I don't want to tell it 0.625 kilograms. I want to tell it to go to cell C4 and take whatever number's there and multiply that number by 1/2. So I'm going to tell it the cell address where I want it to get the mass of the ball. So I'm going to type in C4. Okay, there you go. So far our formula is telling the spreadsheet, take a half and multiply by whatever number you get in C4, which is the mass. Now, that needs to be multiplied by the velocity of the ball squared. So again, since we're multiplying, we need another asterisk. And then just like we did with mass, we have to tell the spreadsheet what cell to look in to find the velocity. And we can see that the velocity of the ball is in cell F4. So I'm going to type in the cell address where it'll find the velocity. Okay? But we don't want just the velocity. We want the velocity squared. Now, the symbol you use to tell a spreadsheet to raise something to the power of something or to square it is the caret, which is Shift 6. It's the little tent symbol. So I'm going to put in a Shift 6, and then since I'm squaring, I'm going to put in 2. So that's an instruction to the spreadsheet that says, okay, take the number in F4 and raise it to the power of 2 or square it. All right, now it knows what to do. That formula says, okay, spreadsheet, take 1/2, multiply it by the number in C4, which is where we put the mass, and then multiply that by the number in F4 squared, and F4 is where we put the velocity. So when I hit return, it's going to give me a kinetic energy, 2.81 joules. Now you can also see it's got a suggested autofill. Okay. In this case, we want to use it, but I want to show you how to do it if it doesn't give you the suggestion, and in case we don't want to do the suggestion. All right. So rather than have you type in that formula using different cell addresses for all the other rows in column G, there's a simple trick you can do. See that little blue square right there in the bottom right corner of cell G4? If you click on that and drag it down all the way to cell G9, it's going to automatically put the formula with the correct cell addresses for the rows that we're in all the way down the column. Okay, so now we can see that the kinetic energy of the ball starts at 2.81 joules and goes up to 13.65 by the time it reached 0.15. All right, so that's kinetic energy. You want to do the same thing with potential energy and total mechanical energy. Okay, I'm going to do the first potential energy for you. Total mechanical energy is so simple. It's just kinetic plus potential. So all you have to do is write a formula that tells you to add the kinetic energy cell to the potential energy cell. Okay, but here's potential energy. Again, you start with an equal sign, and then you tell it what to do after that. And you want it to have, you want the spreadsheet to multiply mass by gravity by height. So you have to put in the 3 cell addresses where the spreadsheet can find the numbers that you've entered for those quantities and multiply them. So mass, again, is in the same cell. I'm just going to click on it, C4. Look what happens when I click on it. It automatically puts the cell address in there. You don't have to type it. Okay? Then I'm going to put an asterisk for multiply, and I'll click on cell D4. Puts the cell address there. Okay? Now, so far it's been told to multiply the number you get from C4, which is mass, by the number you get from D4, which is gravity. And the final one you want is height. Another multiply. Click on E4, puts the cell address in. Your formula is complete. You have an instruction that tells it to multiply the number in C4, which is mass, by the number in D4, which is gravity, by the number in E4, which is height. Hit enter. And it gives you a suggested autofill. That autofill is actually correct. You can click on the check, and now you have a decreasing potential energy as the points go up, showing that the ball's potential energy is decreasing as its height decreases. And that's it. That's how you program spreadsheets with formulas. I hope that helps.